Hi there. I hope you've been so super well. Thank you for listening in advance. I am here to share something that is called the rising sun. And there's a reason for that. And with all this prose and sharing of a message, I never know what he wants me to share until there is a timed release element that activates. And this is one of those times because it is about the phase of the moon and what it speaks to Father God's ecclesia, the Christ King's church, his bride, the body that he's going to come back for. So this, the rising sun, speaks of the sun reflecting on the moon and the phase that it's in and its positioning in the heavens and the why of it. So I will say that this is a little cryptic, but we're going to try to uncover the manifold meanings because as my pen stopped and I reviewed the words, there were so many that I was like, what? Because I presumed one thing, but realized he was like, nope, that's not what I meant until I dug and researched. Then I was like, oh, okay. So I will say now that this is something for the kings and queens of the kingdom, because as Father God says, it's his glory to conceal a matter, and it's the honor of his kings and queens to seek, search, dig it out. So let's get started, have some fun with some digging, shall we? The reason is because I knew February 24th of 2024 was going to be important somehow, but I didn't realize how much. So here's the prose. 2/24 and again. Significant, no doubt, and this message to last 4 days, 23, 24, 25, 26, in fact. How do I and your children reflect 99, 100% the glory of you, God the Father, and honor the Son? You've zeroed out all things for those truly on their knees, bringing completion to cycles completed. It's time, begin again. This transit in Virgo, like woman, well, and Samarium. The stars join to remind your family what's in focus, what's first. Be about my priorities, Father speaks. You're important to me. Do you know what's important to me? The Messiah is coming. Do you reflect him, his victory? Are you ready? 9/23/17 said no different. This full circle, a loving nudge. Are you ready to launch clear, unlike Snow White, new, redeemed? 1, 2, 3 in Matthew. Behold, the virgin shall be with child and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, God with us. You are the one chosen, by the one holy to stand, for the one others have tossed aside, forsaken. Extend my olive branch. Rebirth, fresh into the impossible realm. Halo, holy, hallowed. Cloudy, no less brilliant, he is coming, the promised one. And solar flares portend. Be ready, dear one. The further away from earthly's apogee. The moon micro celebrates, circling, highlighting, hallelujahs reflect. Father, our Creator God, has not changed and never will, but sometimes he employs so many different ways to get our attention. He will flow in many, many, many facets and from different sources until we go, oh, I get it, that's for me. So that's what he does for me, because sometimes I'm so hard-headed that it takes a lot to just go, yeah, hello. So this is what happens to me on things like this. There are so many signs and messages that all come together and say, this is what I'm trying to get to you into your brain. And I go, oh, sorry, Father, it took a while, but I'm so glad you didn't give up. When we can get to the point where we're sure and we feel safe and secure about his message, then we can take that radical direction. That has to be all and nothing but in faith. Some of you might have heard and presume that in the prose that was reference to the woman at the well as the Samaritan woman. But when I did, I got a check in my spirit, and God said, that's not what I said. I was like, oh, okay. But the quote was, woman, comma, well, comma, and Samarium. I'm like, oh, what's Samarium? So I looked it up, and you know what? It's on the periodic table of elements. God was using his creation to speak further and say, well, look it up, see what it means. And Samarium is used in human things to, things like glass and things that bring a sharper focus to someone's sight and vision. So what he's saying is, I need you guys to be focused on my priorities, what's primary for me, what's important to me. That is what I want you to set your sights on and prioritize as I see, as I am leading you to see and declare what is priority. It's like, oh, that is so much more interesting than my presumption, right? God's kind of cool like that. So He is bringing attention to his ecclesia to say, stay focused, no distraction, and to be about his business, primarily, solely sold out to him and him alone. It's important right now and always. So sharper vision is what he's speaking. However, the moon being at the fullest in reflecting the solar glow, when it happens to be the furthest away from the earth in its orbit, has me believe that what he is sharing is when you let go and consecrate and set apart yourself from the earthly things, from flesh of man, from the tangible things, and focus by setting yourself apart and distant from those things, then that is when you're going to shine at your brightest for him. That is when you're going to get the purest direction. That is when you're going to get the highest and the best good from him, because you're going to be fully given over and able to reflect 100% the light of glory of the kingdom of light and every promise fulfilled. And that is the consecration that he's calling for right now. Focus on me first and foremost. Set yourself apart completely as far as you can, and I will bless you dramatically, vibrantly, brilliantly. Don't you see? He wants you to see him and nothing else. So the risk is, as you probably know I do, when you go the flesh route, the human understanding, the limitations of that, even though you think you're not limited, you are. But you know what that means is that you will fall to something that you may not want to, and the long term it'll hurt you, and he doesn't want that. That's Father God's heart. He wants the best, not what's going to bring any measure of hurt and harm. So know that is most important in this. So, you know, another aha came when the thing about micro moon came up, because Pastor Cheon, who pastors a wonderful congregation, he was talking about how in this season it is vital for the micro church to become fully alive and active. And what those are home groups, are small groups based on different callings, but in unity come together and excel, so we can bring light of the kingdom of heaven into this earth. So he was talking about micro church, and you know what? The moon right now is called micro moon, reiterating what the glories of the heavenlies are speaking. Micro church, micro moon. Wow, right? I was like, oh, that's so great. So there's so many things going on. I mean, the timing is unbelievable. But I want to close part one with this reiteration of some facts. So let me read it. There are astronomical facts that I need to share to jog your faith, to work up to the highest of the heavens, and to work as well with your brain. The moon is moving through the constellation of Virgo. That message has not really changed since the Magi found Bethlehem's so-called star. It's not just a star, so much more than that. And the message about the Messiah, heralded by the heavens host, is still happening. It's so great. That message is not that much different, except that the Messiah, who once came as a lamb, is coming again, except with a roar so great, like the Lion of Judah foretold. So that Lion of Judah was birthed on purpose by a willing Virgin Mary, storied in the stars. And there is a virgin in the book of Revelation 12:1, and there was also such a sign purported being displayed 7 years ago on 9/23/17. Now we're in the 7th year from that starry revelation. So what Father God impressed upon me last High Holy Day season of 2023 was that a 7-year cycle has ceased and another one has begun. We are in that 7th year. So the moon speaking at apogee as a snow moon with its fullest light in reflection of the hyperactivity of the sun that's growing in solar flares and the like, it speaks so loudly and clearly that this is a message to the ecclesia, and it's speaking about many things. The fact that Virgo is in play is that the word virgin, it's a call out to his church, his bride, to say purity is on my mind, says Father God, purity, because there is great reason. And in part 2, we will explore some of that, but it has also to do with redeeming what he has made, including you as his child of light. I'm calling you out because you are to come from the darkness of this time into his marvelous light. And the moon is speaking that to you. And you can't do that until you're the furthest point away from all fleshly, earthly things. This is a deep message of what the moon is speaking right now to 2424. That was the date, and there is more to this, and we will dig into that in part 2. I'm Jane Justice Park. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the other side. God bless you and keep you until then. Bye-bye.